I now recognize the ranking member of the Judiciary Committee, the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Jordan, for his opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last fall, September 29th, the National School Boards Association sent a letter to the Biden White House asking the Biden administration to treat parents as terrorists. Let me just read from that letter, because sometimes I think we forget the language that was enclosed in that letter, September 29th, 2021. Here's what the language says, and this is not a soundbite or a conspiracy theory. This is what they wrote to the Biden White House. The National School Boards Association requests a joint expedited review. The National School Board Association requests that such review examine enforceable actions under the Patriot Act, asking the Biden administration to use the Patriot Act against moms and dads. 5 days later, the Attorney General of the United States sends a memorandum to the director of the FBI. Here's what the memorandum said. I am directing the Federal Bureau of Investigation, working with each United States attorney to convene meetings with federal, local, and territorial leaders within 30 days of the issuance of this memorandum, and to open up dedicated lines of communication for threat reporting, to open up a snitch line on moms and dads. 16 days after that, October 20th, because of a brave whistleblower, we learned that the FBI sent out this email to agents around the country. As a result of Mr. Garland's memo, the Counterterrorism and Criminal Divisions created a threat tag. Again, I'm quoting here from the email. We ask that your offices apply the threat tag to investigations and assessments of threats. All that happens in 22 days. A letter from the School Board Association, a memorandum from the Attorney General, and then an email sent out to FBI agents around the country to put a threat tag, this designation, this label on moms and dads. 22 days. First thing I always say is I've never, in my time in Congress, never seen the federal government move that fast. Never. 22 days. A couple things we've learned since then. First is between the initial letter on the 29th and the memorandum on the 4th, we learned that Viola Garcia, the individual who signed the letter to the Biden administration from the School Board Association, was given a plum job, a plum assignment at the Department of Education. And second, and maybe most importantly, we learned that the National School Board Association didn't really initiate this whole thing. The Biden administration went to them. Emails that we've now seen show the Department of Education first went to the School Board Association and said, write the letter to us, give us the pretext so we can do what we want to do, namely go after parents. So it was a plot, it was a scheme, it was a plan, started first with the administration, not with the School Boards Association. And then, of course, we have October 21st. October 21st, the day that the Attorney General came in front of this committee and made this statement. I could not imagine any circumstance where parents are treated as domestic terrorists. Only problem with that statement is the very day before, the email had went out to FBI agents around the country saying, treat parents as domestic terrorists, put this threat tag label on them. And now here we are today. Here we are today with the bill that's going to codify, in effect, what took place that the chairman refuses to actually have any more hearings on, something that is, I think, front and center of the folks I talked to in the 4th Congressional District. But here's what the legislation would do that's in front of us today. The legislation would codify and authorize domestic terrorism offices within the Office of Intelligence and Analysis of DHS, the Counterterrorism Section of the National Security Division, and the Counterterrorism Division of the FBI. So they're going to actually, this bill is going to put in place what these guys attempted to do and did last fall. I think this is definitely the wrong direction to go. I would hope, Mr. Chairman, that at some point we could have the Attorney General come back and talk to us about, we got a little taste of this last week in the crime subcommittee where we got to talk to the U.S. Attorney from the state of Washington and found out he did in fact convene that meeting. We tried to ask him some questions about it, didn't really give us any answers. It'd be nice if the Attorney General would be back in front of us to deal with this subject. But I think this legislation is the wrong way to go. I hope that we do not pass it. Urge a no vote and would yield back the balance of my time.